beyond that. We get to talk to him this morning, and we get to find out what he has been up to lately. Mr. Benchcroft, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Handel. Good morning to your viewers, and I must wish you belatedly a happy birthday.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
All right, good. The elections are over. They're done with. They're gone. What is next for Mark Benchcroft?
Oh gosh, I just continue with my activism, continue with my work in terms of doing things for people and ensuring then that things are kept aligned, or in line, so to speak. And so that is always going to be me. I'm not going to be moved off track because we see the backs of the PPP now, and now that we have a new government, that Mark Benchcroft is going to hang his gloves up and call it a day. No, I'm not. I'm going to be around. I'm going to continue doing exactly what I have been doing in terms of keeping whoever is in power, keeping them in check, and continuing to do stuff through the Benchcroft Foundation and so forth, continue to stand up against human rights violations, regardless of who is in power, like I've said, whether it's police brutality or whatever. That is what I'm going to continue doing. As long as there is some sort of wrong in society, I am going to be there.
So we can look forward to seeing, the very same Mark, something ill happen in society, we are going to hear from you.
I don't think that you have seen a different Mark. Mark will always be Mark, and that's it.
We don't know. We hear a lot of change. You hear people talk.
Well, you saw me in the and I respect and I welcome the change. In any society, you must have change, and we're not talking about the next change. We're talking about change. And if, for example, you change the color of your house, it must look better than the first. And if we change this government, then the previous government, then this government must be 10 times better. And in my opinion, anybody that's in power now should do 10 times better than the previous administration. And change for me must be change that will impact the lives of citizens, not impact the lives of those who are in office.
Were you surprised at the number of votes you garnered that election?
Hey, nothing in this life surprises me at all. I have my concerns about that. And my only take on that issue is that unless we change the system at GCOM and people get that opportunity to vote, and your vote is properly registered through what you call a machine-readable something at GCOM, I mean, come on. Where on this earth that you continue to vote with your finger, your index finger, not your middle finger, sorry, right? Your index finger. And then you put an X with a pencil, on a piece of paper, and then put it in a little box, and those things are outdated, 40, 50, 60 years. We have to change. We have to change with the program. The previous administration didn't want to go that route, and so why complain now? Why cry bitter tears? Why call for a recount? When in fact you had 23 years to change that system, to make GCOM, make every vote come through a machine-readable system, that you go into the voting booth, the polling station, you vote, and your vote is automatically registered. So by the end of elections, the closing date, you know exactly who would have won, instead of waiting almost a week just for the results. And so, in answering your question, am I satisfied? Let us change the system at GCOM, so that when Tom, Hari, or Indira, or Vishnu, or whomever vote, let that vote be counted properly.
Do you think that the coalition would be able to deliver on that 100-day proposal plan it made for the country?
No government will be able to deliver everything that they have promised, even within
That's one thing people should understand.
Even within 100 days. I recall George Bush Sr., whilst he was campaigning, he said to the reporter, "Read my lips, no more new taxes." And he won, right? He won the elections. After he would have, Mr. Reagan would have served his 2 terms, George Bush ran, and he won. Read my lips, no more new taxes. As soon as he got in there, new taxes. This new government has made so many promises. Trust me, they're not going to be able to keep all of those promises. So don't be surprised if what they said during elections time, some of the things, and they can't fulfill it, or they change their words around. It is politics, and campaigning to win an elections is different than running a government.
Nice, I like that. When we look at the revelations that are being made so far, you hear about this account, that account. Had you your suspicions all along about those?
Oh, what account?
The revelations about monies in this account.
Oh, everybody knows. Everyone, Handel, even the smallest child knows
I'm not
that.
sure if everybody.
Well, they should by now. people are not that naive, people are not that stupid at all. They knew what was being done for the past most of the 23 years in terms of people in Western Belt, East, or even on the current team. They weren't getting their money's worth. They weren't getting their tax dollars spent that they spent to fix this country. It was going for those who were running the country, their friends and their families. They're driving the best of vehicles, living in mansions and all these things, sending their kids to probably the best universities around the world, off of taxpayers' monies. So we knew, we saw the evidence there. A minister, as young as he is, owns a mansion, millions of dollars overnight. Come on, Handel. The writing was on the wall. We saw the evidence, even though some people, while sitting down drinking their soup, talking about, show me the evidence, man, show me the evidence.
Mark, do you see witch hunting?
What is witch hunting?
Do you see witch hunting?
What is witch hunting? Any government. I worked with the mayor of New York City. And when Giuliani won, most of the key positions held by Mayor Dinkins, they had to vacate their office so that a new breed of people should enter. It is not called witch hunting. It is called the right thing to do. For example, when Giuliani won, I think it was Ray Kelly who was the commissioner of police. Ray Kelly had to go. Giuliani had to put his own commissioner of police, and thus he put William Bratton. In Guyana, why should that be any different? Why should a new administration be afraid to make changes, to be afraid to change the head of GRA, to be afraid to change the head of whatever institution? When you do that, why should it be called witch hunting? It is called the politically right thing to do.
Now, Mark, I'm thinking, I've got a job as the head of the Ghana Revenue Authority. I'm the head of that body. I've been working there for, let's say, 20 years. I've been there carrying out my duties. The government changes. Now, I'm living in uncertainty when it comes to my job.
The government has a right.
That's fair enough to me?
The government has a right to change whomever they want to. As long, you don't necessarily, if somebody has performed exceedingly well, then there is consideration. But for example, you talk about GRA. Come on, massive corruption at GRA. I hope if you get a chance to head GRA, you wouldn't be hiring your 6 kids, you wouldn't be hiring your nieces, your nephews, family members, giving them a whole host of,
So as long as you would have performed, you would have performed well in your respective.
But under any corrupt government, it's not easy to pinpoint individuals who would have performed well in agencies, It's difficult. And so when the head of GINA has to go, it is not witch hunting, it is the proper thing to do. When the head of NCN has to go, it is not witch hunting, it is the right thing to do.
So let's say this present government changes in the next 10 years.
Yeah,
They've got the right, the new government then.
Mm-hmm. Any government. For example, if there's a change at City Hall, and there will be a change at City Hall, and the new mayor, thank you, wants to have changes, that is all within his right. You must have. For example, if a new person takes over the management of Channel 9, don't you expect them to have changes? Allow this government.
I expect them to fire me.
I'm not saying fire.
All right, let's make a switch, a 360 degree. Going to the foundation now, you had some programs in cosmetology and things like that. We haven't heard much about those recently. What's happening?
Yeah, we put those on hold because, as you know, the campaign was very, very, very busy. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all those who would have voted for me. And if you believe then that when you voted for me, you actually voted for me. Thank you. Another time, maybe one of these days when I write a book, I will explain exactly what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, the independent party campaigned for change, right? We wanted the PPP out. But as we have been saying, we wanted an opportunity to sit in parliament, even if it's one seat, so that we would be able to make a difference in terms of democracy. That is what it's about. Now that we don't have a seat, now that we haven't garnered sufficient votes for that, it's time to move on. We can't bicker. We wanted this change. I wanted the change. Most, if not all, of the people who campaigned with me wanted this change, and so we got it. I voted for this change also, as much as and a lot of people didn't know this, that you can vote for 2 parties in the same elections. You can vote for the one party for the general elections, and you can vote for another party for the regional elections. Mistakes happened. We weren't able to get on the regional list. We thought we were on the regional list. We weren't on the regional list, and so we had to vote. I casted my vote on top for the IP and on the bottom for the coalition, APNU AFC. So I also, as much as I voted for my own party, I also voted for coalition. I also voted for change, and I want to see change. And when people criticize this new government, and I know that there are going to be lots of criticisms, this new administration should not become or be vexed because people are constructively criticizing them. They must understand that that is democracy. They must understand that that is what a lot of us fought for. Many of us went to prison for that. Some of our brothers have been slaughtered for that. Ronald Waddle, Crummy Wing, and so forth. And this new government, headed by President David Granger, the Honorable President, and I feel that way about him, they must not go after individuals and say, I'm going to spite you because you're speaking out, or I'm going to this. They must respect the fact, and almost all of these persons serving in ministerial positions or so forth, who have been quiet for a very, very long time, they must respect the fact that there are people out there, ordinary people, and when I say ordinary people, I'm talking about grassroots people and others who fought to put them there, and they must work in the best interest of all the citizens.
So can we say that the computer classes are going to, or the cosmetology course, they're going to start in the near future?
I notice how every time we get political, you bring me back into computer courses.
No, because that's the question I asked you initially,
No
and
problem.
then you left that and then you went on.
I divorced that, right? But I want to see bigger and better things. I want this government to do things for young people, right? And what I did, especially on a regime that was on caring towards young people also, people in general, I'd like to see programs, start up by this new government to target kids in a very positive and a very meaningful role. And once the Benchcraft Foundation opens back its doors, we will. And it's one of the things that I want to continue doing, the computer classes. Quickly, Handel, I want this new government also to take another look at this one laptop per family program. It has been a waste of taxpayers' monies in this country. Rethink that whole one laptop per family or whatever. Millions of US dollars wasted, went into went into their pockets, their friends' pockets, and all these things. And at the end of the day, the ordinary folks didn't get anything. President Granger should look into that, scrap that entire program, build computer labs in all of the schools, including nursery schools. Start at the nursery level as well. Those are the things that I want to see. And if the Benchcraft Foundation can play its role, we are willing to open our doors again and continue to offer free computer courses to every Guyanese in need.
Mark, thanks so much.
Hey, Handel, thank you so much. And thanks to your viewers as well. Have a wonderful day, and God bless you.